Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another Lead Squared Roundtable. I'm Vaishnavi Shetty, and I work in the marketing department of Lead Squared. India's residential market is booming in 2024, showing strong resilience and growth. Despite challenges like rising land costs and limited funding, we've seen robust sales and a wave of new property launches. This momentum is driven by a growing desire for home ownership, rising incomes, and a healthy economy. For real estate professionals, it's more important than ever to understand these market dynamics. That's why we brought together a panel of experts who are leading the way in these developments. Our roundtable today is all about breaking down the residential market and sharing valuable insights. Let's welcome our first panel member, Mr. Sanjay Lab, who has been the Chief Operating Officer at Prestige Group for the past 4 years. Mr. Lab has also held key positions in other prestigious firms like DLF Limited, Raheja Corp, and IHCL. He plays a crucial role in overseeing development, strategic planning, and project management while also identifying growth opportunities. He has been instrumental in expanding Prestige Group's property portfolio and maximizing returns through efficient budgeting. Under his leadership, the company has established a strong brand presence in the Delhi NCR region with 21 million square feet of development launched. We are honored to have Mr. Sanjay with us today. Welcome to the panel, sir.
Thank
Next
you.
up, Next up, we have with us Ms. Shafali Singh. She's the VP and business head at Divyasri, where she expertly handles both the strategic and operational aspects of companies' key business verticals. In the residential business vertical, she oversees everything from development to delivery, ensuring smooth transitions across different residential asset classes. She also manages the group's operational accounting and oversees the entire debt portfolio in finance and accounts. Also, Shafali is a crucial part of group strategy team where she collaborates on driving business growth across asset classes and geographies. We are thrilled to have her with us today. Welcome, Shafali, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me over here.
Yeah. And for our third panelist, we have with us Mr. Gokul Pillai, the Chief Business Officer at Asset Homes. He manages the brand and product strategy, market positioning, marketing, pre-sales, sales, and growth ventures. With a sharp understanding of marketing dynamics, he positions the brand to create maximum impact. He also leads the pre-sales and sales team to consistently exceed targets and is the forefront of launching new verticals, driving continuous expansion and growth for Asset Homes. We are honored to have you with us, Mr. Gokul. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi.
Finally, we have with us Abhinav, a real estate expert here at Lead Squared. He has an in-depth understanding of real estate landscape. Abhinav has been instrumental in crafting and executing marketing strategies to drive significant results. He's going to be the moderator of the session today. Now, before we begin, I would like to bring your attention to the bottom right of your screen. We have a chat tab and a questions tab there. We would love to hear your thoughts and questions, so do not hesitate to put them there as we will take them at the end of the session. So, without further ado, let's begin. Abhinav, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vaishnavi, and thank you so much for all the panel members joining the panel today. And such an amazing panel that we have had right now. And also, thank you to all the audience for joining and making this great come together. So, first, as we begin, first, I'd like to, as we explore, so the market dynamics, or as we explore the dynamics of the residential real estate market. So, I'd like to turn our attention to Miss Shifali Singh, who has been the key figure at Divyasri Developers. So, she manages the strategic and operational aspects, as you guys have heard, of the company's business verticals. And Shifali ma'am has an in-depth understanding in the market dynamics, and also her hands-on experience overseeing multiple project life cycles makes her insights particularly valuable as we're going to explore the trends in the residential. So, Shifali ma'am, I'd like to start with you first. So, considering your extensive experience in the residential real estate sector, so what do you see as are the key factors or trends currently driving the residential real estate market?
Um, Interesting. Thank you, Abhinav, and that's really something that all of us on the panel, not only just the three of us actually on the panel, but the entire industry is thinking what happened in November of 2022, to be very specific, when there was a meteoric rise as far as the sales of the residential units are concerned. So obviously the black swan event of the global black swan event, which is COVID, has clearly demarcated the line between the residential market or scenario, which was there in India pre-COVID and post-COVID. Now, the way I look at it, of course, when the upsurge began during COVID era, immediately after COVID era, people attributed the success to couple of things. Number one, lowest loan rates, right? At that time, the bank loan, home housing loans were hovering around 6.4. We've had the lowest, I think, was 6.4, but it was around 7% ish, right? And people said it's because of there's a pent up demand, etc., etc. Plus, during COVID, people started spending time at home, right, because of work from home scenario. So a lot of attribution was given to these two factors, where the cheap housing loan was available and there was a pent up demand. But you fast forwarded 3 years, and the upsurge continues. In fact, I think since we are all sitting in Bangalore, if you really look at Bangalore, up till 2019, consistently the average price of a Bangalore residential market has been a 4,500. Today, if you and of course I will not talk about the reports, etc., but definitely it is doubled up if it is not in the 5-digit era. And I would request Sanjay sir and Gokul to add in. But the average price for the first time in Bangalore, and for that matter, most of the markets, have been growing consistently at a 5% CAGR. Right? Now, the reasons I attributed to me on a long-term basis. Number one, I think today a residential buyer feels far more confident when they're buying a home. And the reason for that is attributed to the statutory framework which has been constructed for the protection of the customer, the client. All of us think of RERA as a lot of paperwork, but from a client's perspective, when they are putting their hard-earned money to a developer, by the way, who is always supposed to, I mean, we are all infamous and we've earned that reputation of not delivering on time, quality, etc. There is now a sense of accountability as far as the client is concerned. So RERA, consumer centricity from a developer's perspective also has given that comfort, has created the ecosystem where the client today is feeling safe while investing their money. So one is that regulatory framework, which puts a lot more accountability on the developer world. Second is a lot of infusion of the startup capital, the private equity capital, which has completely poured in. And today, the Indian millennial, which is approximately almost about 30 to 40% of the Indian population, is contributing to 50% of the Indian rising story, Indian housing story, the residential rights story. And where is their money coming from? It is the whole startup, the private equity money that has come in. People have encashed and they want to upgrade their lifestyle, right? The rapid urbanization. That is also where the clients are saying that they want something which is better designed, better quality, and most importantly, the whole focus of convenience is which is riding or driving the community living and the definition of the community living. So to summarize, in a sense, Abhinav, the way I look at it, what has been driving or what is going to continue to drive Indian residential market, at least for the next 2-3 years, I would say, is belief in the statutory framework, the customer-centric statutory framework that has been done or created by the government. Secondly, the market dynamics itself, which is infusion of additional capital that is coming, the fresh capital that is coming, plus the new age Indian millennial, which is coming and asking for better product. And the third is today, if you really look at the product is more scientifically thought, better designed, amenitized to give a better offering.
Yeah.
I would leave it that.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that was very good insight into as to what the trends are, or what are the factors that are affecting this particular rise in the property sale or the residential property sale in the urban areas. And so, following that, I'd love to hear some more insights from the rest of the panel as well as to from your particular region. How is the trend looking like? And so we can start with Sanjay sir, and then maybe move on to Gokul sir.
Yeah, thank you, Abhinav. See, the trend in last 3 years is going completely high. Based on the data, what I having, 31% annual growth in the residential sales in last year, and the total apartment 4,76,000, 4,76,000 units sold in 2023. If you can see, the total launch was 4,45,000 lakh unit in 23. So compared to the launching, the total sale is going higher. So all the backlogs are being getting cleared, and so completely it is for the RACI. Also, I'm expecting for 2024, 2025 further improvement of around 25 to 30% year to year. So uh, Shefali has said very right way, and she has explained the actual market depth. However, the I can see the demand. It is coming not only from the upper class, the middle class is also going up. So especially 580 million middle class is being converted from the lower to the middle class, and I expect that 580, if I'm talking, it's a target by 2025 the middle class. So out of 580 million, almost 400 millions has reached in the middle class. So they are also looking for the housing across the area. NRI investment has gone 13.1 million US dollar. So and all these are, I'm just adding the Cephali what she said. Apart from the, what she said, these two factor, and also the way the infrastructure is happening across the country. If all of us are talking about 30-kilometer road built on the daily basis, if 10-kilometer railway track laid on the daily basis, so this is also giving the huge infrastructure boost across the country. That is the reason for us as a developer. Now all of us are launching the city, launching the huge project outside of the city as well. So, and if I am launching outside of the city, it is falling into the mid-range apartment, and it is helping the middle-class family also to come into the market and to buy all the apartment. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that insight, sir. So, Gokul sir, how about you? Yep, you're ready to get your insight.
Yeah, see, I think this topic is very well connected to my career, because I was actually with Puravankara in Chennai, and almost a year back I thought of taking back to uh, Trivandrum, because I born and brought up in Trivandrum. So I'll tell you why. Because see, if you look at the national urbanization rate today, which is around 36%, which is expected to reach 50% by 2050. Yeah, and if you look at Trivandrum is at 48%. See, I'm just sharing a few data points which actually, give me a conviction to come out of Chennai or come out of Ahmedabad and came back to Trivandrum. And today I'm sitting and working in, Kochi with a builder called Asset Homes. And if you look at, the National Council of Applied Economics Research, what they say is like there are 97 Tier 2s and 33 Tier 3 cities in India, contributes close to 40% of our GDP in 2015, will go up to 45% by 2025.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you look at the union budget, not this budget, the previous budget, which allocated somewhere around 10,000 crore, if I'm not wrong, 10,000 crore per year, only for the public establishments, actually to like enhance the developments in the real estate sector, especially on tier twos and tier threes. That's the huge change, right? And if you look at the schemes like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, like the so-called Samtiva, or like if you look at the production linked incentive scheme, all these things are largely contributing the growth story of tier twos and tier threes. And tier twos and tier threes are really the happening place for India at this moment. If you look at Lucknow, because we got a consultant from Lucknow, and we are so aggressive actually to try to get a land parcel in Lucknow or places like Ayodhya or Surat, right? And just imagine, like a developer who operates out of 9 districts in Kerala, now, aspiring to expand to a tier 2 city outside Kerala. That itself
Yeah.
shows, like the potential of these cities. Yeah. And there are few reasons behind it. See, for example, post COVID, what we are actually witnessing is, like, there is something called reverse migration that is very much visible in tier 2s and tier 3s. And in Kerala, what happens is, like, people come out of Kerala because this is the capital of NRIs, where they used to work in GCC and other European countries, where there are two trends happening. The NRIs, they are actually coming back. They are trying to buy apartments or houses here. And second is, the people, those who are going to US or European countries, where they are getting residence permit and all these things, and they are still keeping in mind that coming back and buying a house in Kerala is much more safer call. Yeah. So the reverse migration is very visible, and like the middle income population is growing very well in India, right? Especially in tier twos and tier threes. And we have very improved infrastructure, because infrastructure is getting developed day on day. When I was traveling through Gandhinagar last month, I can see, like, there are places where the metro work is going on. It is dense, like rural areas where they are constructing metro. I just asked them, why are constructing metro at this moment? Because the Guda is actually acquiring land parcels, and they are saying, like, in another 5 to 10 years you can able to see the real estate development in these places, and they are doing infrastructure enhancement today, and that is visible everywhere, even in Kerala as well. Yeah. And if you look at the investor point of view, if you look at the investor participation in tier 2s and tier 3s, the most interesting factor is the rental yields are very high. A 70 lakh worth apartment in Calicut will give you at least 35 to 40,000 rupees rental. It is way beyond 4%, right? And for an investor, he is always looking for a diverse portfolio, right? And you will get a lot of options, and you will get a more options in acquiring land parcels when you go for acquiring land parcels. And you are getting a better return of equity, return of investment, all these things are there, right? So these are actually the factors where like people are preferring. And now the work culture post COVID is completely changed, because now you can see the startup ecosystem is largely working around digital platforms or remote modes, right? And and we cannot even imagine, like, a company like Zoho will set up a head office in a place like Tenkasi in Tamil Nadu. It's right, and they are well operating. So the kind of enhancement which is actually, and the development which is actually happening in tier 2s and tier 3s are really vital. And I think the government policies are actually supporting it, and the reverse migration is one of the key reasons. And if you look at assets in Kerala, we are operating out of 9 districts in Kerala, right? Not only from Kochi or Trivandrum. And Kerala as a market sells around 8,000, 9,000 units a year, right? Where we used to sell somewhere around 1,000 units a year, right? So it is equivalent to almost close to the national players numbers, right? And that is purely from the tier 2s and tier 3s.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for that insight, sir. So thank you so much, everyone, for covering the first point in the agenda. So before we move to our next discussion point, I'd like to highlight some remarkable contributions by Mr. Sanjay Lab, so who has been recognized as one of the outstanding professionals in national building. And also, in fact, the Morgan Stanley office in Mindspace was completed in a record time under 7 months under his leadership. So in 2005, so Mr. Sanjay Lab introduced ERP systems and other advanced technologies back in the day for construction management in organizations that he worked in, which significantly streamlined the operations and improved the company's efficiency. So, Sanjay sir, given your pioneering approach to integrating advanced systems or your belief in the power of digitization and automation, so how do you think the construction sector in India can adopt better or more reliable methods to fast track development while maintaining high quality or high standards? What strategies are something that you would recommend? Yeah.
Very good. See, if you can see in last 3 decades, at least I am working in this uh, market, our industries is completely unorganized sector, and the people had not put any extra effort for doing some sort of R&D to adopt some new technology. So when I got the challenge first time for completing the building in 7 months of time, from start to end in totality, when the market was completely boom in 2003, 4, 5, 6. So when the Morgan Stanley came, and that time everybody was asking, I need the building in 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. So most of the company was not accepting this. So I did my lot of homework how to do that. Since the market, this is the demand of the market, and accordingly I opted, so many things how to do the construction on the faster basis. What are the challenges? So first challenges is uh, all the government approval for the regulatory. It is the major challenge. Normally it took 16 months on an average for getting any approval. So how to handle this part? Then after handling this, how to expedite the entire construction? So I so first was the approval, how to handle the entire approval. So that I had done my very hard work and completely, uh, you know, uh, all this approach. I cannot share it here.
Yeah.
So thereafter, I started normal timing. That time, everybody was doing one slab cycle for 20 days, 30 days. So I thought how to make it in 3 days. So I started using the first time PT slab. So PT slab was used in the construction by me, especially into the resi building and for the commercial building, and accordingly I started doing this. Again, the ERP system was not used, the internal approval process and all. So I started using first time in my construction. Any developer as a kid, as a cops, they started doing the ERP in 2005, 2006. Then beam modeling I started as a first, into the market. So see, right now, whatever I am talking is the common thing, but I am talking right now 20 years before. So, and how to ensure what are the issue of the construction team, the contracting. I strongly believe if any contractor is going to get the detailed drawing decision on time, if they are going to get the money on time, then most of the contractors are going to perform. Okay. So how to handle those parts? So I had make the checklist. I acted on everything. I introduced lot of things into the market. So I'm just talking about the Morgan Stanley when I did the fastest building of the country, and when I signed the agreement with the Morgan Stanley, Mr. Pandit was the CEO of the Morgan Stanley, and he was sitting in the New York. He called me and he shouted me for half an hour, and he said, bloody you people are making the fool to the all the corporate company by signing the paper that we are going to construct in 7 months of time. Nobody has done so many things, right? I just listened, and after half an hour I said, sir, you talk to me after 30 days. So I'm just making it short, and accordingly from start to end, completed, handed over, and I started on 23rd of April 2003 and handed over to them on 2nd Jan 2004. And it was not for the my for the construction industry, also to establish our construction name in into the world, right? That in India also you can do it. So I adopted lot of new technology. I had already done, all the huddle part, how to manage the all the huddle part, and right now I am the guy who has adopted lot of new technology from the worldwide, and I am using across the country how to ensure the all the construction should move on. Now the labor crisis is huge. For my four project, L&T is the contractor. They are lack of 35,000 workers, right? Uh, so, only I can tell you that if my total labor requirement is 10,000, out of 10,000, by adopting the new technology, there is so many new technology that I had already started adopting, and I am saving around 35 to 40% work.
Awesome. Awesome. So we'd like to hear some insights from the rest of the panel as well, starting with maybe Shefali ma'am, and then we'll hear it
Yeah.
from Gokul sir as well.
So I completely resonate with what Sanjay sir said, that, I think technology is two-pronged. One is the process itself, right? I think sometimes we overlook the importance of following the process, right? And what does a technology, what is the objective of having a technology? It's basically to deliver a project within the timeline and within the budget. I think that's the purpose, right? That's the objective. Now, today, the way Indian construction industry is designed, 90% of our workforce is illiterate or unskilled, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the technology that we are talking about is getting implemented for the top 10%. Now, who are these 10%? Are largely the PMCs, the BIMs, all of those things, right? And I think the challenge is about, in a labor-intensive market, what is the kind of technology that we can get? Secondly is the cost of technology, cost of deploying that technology, right? Now, the way, to me, those are the two big challenges, right? While I will not comment on the statutory challenges, and Sanjay sir did mention that those are challenges, but to me, those are time-driven. Those are more impacting on the time, but not as much on the technological aspect. I would leave my comment on that for a market like India, with which is very labor intensive, the technology, the question would be how to use technology to do better vendor management, better time management, and better budget management, for a lack of a better word, is something that all of us are working around. I still believe that technology is not about putting machines, putting robotics. I think there's more to technology than just getting machines replacing manpower. But basic, simple processes is almost equivalent. A lot of groundwork before the GFCs hit the site, a lot of coordinated drawings before the site gets started, a lot of work that happens, vendors on board, material on board, all of those things probably contribute to the technological upgrade as much to the project, of the project, as much as any other technological innovation.
Awesome. So yeah, Gokul sir.
I think till 2020 March we never thought of selling an apartment after having a virtual site visit. In 2022 March 25th, like 24th is the COVID announced, and 25th we sold a unit in a project called Apurva Windermere after having a virtual site visit. We thought, what is this? Like we are showing right in the virtual site visit and selling a unit. See, this is also again connected because my areas are the very primary client facing functions like marketing, pre-sales, and sales, where technology actually enables us to handle larger portfolios, right, and larger marketing campaigns, and more optimum level of engagement on the ground with the right amount of DGs. it's not only virtual site visits, like the efficiency is actually got improved. It's not only with the developers and their sales force. It is as well as the customers in the market. So when we are talking to a customer in the market today, right, he will ask, like, a couple of collaterals which is digital, right, which we have to create and keep, right. That's very essential, right. And we recently done site tour with VRAR, where most of our NRI customers are from outside Kerala. They are not able to come and see, where they can actually go through the apartment tour, as per their convenience, and they can even ask questions also. And when they are seeing a walkthrough, they can ask, because it's AI enabled. They can ask, what is the size of the kitchen, right? And how long is, how far is the school from here? This school is from here, like all these things. Like, see, it's all about the experience. So the kind of experience what we are actually, placing with the support of technology. And we just gone through certain demos recently, where even CRMs are coming with AI integration, where the CRM is actually teaching a sales manager when to send a text message or a WhatsApp message to a prospect to get a better response. So we are actually in that level today. So it is actually making our life very easy, and a lot of things are happening on a daily basis, and this will continue. I think this just started, I believe, from after COVID.
Yeah, and I would like to add to that, and thanks Gokul for bringing that point, because that's a very, very interesting confluence that you've brought about, which is, if you really see, due on the one side of the whole residential market, right, or the real estate, I wouldn't say residential, I would say the entire real estate category, there's one side, which is the construction side, which is not as much automized, right? And on the other side, which is whether you're leasing it or whether you're selling it, it is so technologically, so digitally driven,
Yeah.
right? Today, while and I mean, no offense to anyone on the in the hearings, within the audience, and also on the panel, I think the strongest digital social media is a WhatsApp channel, right? It is. I mean, everything today is done on a WhatsApp, on a digital world. So where it comes to a client interface, right? I completely echo and completely agree with what Gokul is saying, that it has completely transformed, wherein the client is also, the end user is also saying, can you first send me all the information and let me just go through it, let me experience it virtually, digitally, and then I'll come back to you. I'll come to you. So therefore, a large part of the decision making happens off site.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. Yeah. And I guess just a point to add here is that the speed at which the sale has to go from point A to point B is also something that has happened. A lot of innovation has happened in that part. Whereas in the back end construction, I may not know much about that. But
Yeah.
being a CRM firm, right, Lead Square, we also deal with a couple of clients. So we see how fast the entire process happens, like from pre-sales to sales, from to relationship managers, how fast the entire lead flows, and and what channels do they have to use to actually reach out to the customer. As you mentioned, that first the PDF or the tour has to be done online, or the link has to be sent through WhatsApp or email or whatever preferred channel they have. So yeah, it was quite great from hearing from all of you guys, and so we'll move on to the next topic. So which is the next one I'd like to focus is on the unique dynamics of the tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India's residential market. So particularly in the mid segments. To help us navigate this discussion, we have Mr. Gokul Pillai, who is the CBO of Asset Homes. So Gokul sir has been at the forefront of steering the brand and the product strategy for Asset Homes. And his experience in managing the complexities of real estate development, or particularly in emerging markets, as is mentioned, has been very instrumental in driving Asset Homes' success. So, Gokul sir, given your extensive experience and your strategic leadership in the company, what do you see as the key challenges or opportunities for developers in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, particularly in mid segments, or other segments as well?
See, if you look at every city which is emerged, like today Bangalore or Chennai, because every city has a growth story, right? If you look at Trivandrum, right? Trivandrum, I'll just give you some numbers. Like last 3 years in Trivandrum, according to RERA, we got a supply of 6,000 units. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
In this last quarter, that is Q4 of last financial year, Trivandrum sold 913 units.
Hmm.
Yep. See, 6,000 units in 3 years, right? And close to 1,000 units a quarter, right? And in Trivandrum, because I born and brought up in Trivandrum, so in Trivandrum, like there are four classes. They are very strong. They are keep on buying from us. Like Trivandrum is being the capital of bureaucrats. Bureaucrats always coming and buying. Then the IT infrastructure, because India's first IT park is in Trivandrum. That is Techno Park, and the NRI market of Kerala belongs to Trivandrum, and because of these three sectors, now the trading community is also very strong. And now there is a new, class emerging, that is shipping and logistics. In last 3 months in Trivandrum alone, around 1,000 companies got registered, and if you imagine, every company is going to have minimum 10 employees, is going to have another 10,000 employees are going to be there, right? We don't have much talent available here in Kerala because shipping and logistics is not a great industry here. So we have to get talent from outside Kerala. So 6,000 employees are going to come from outside Kerala, which means they need another 6,000 houses, right?
Yeah.
Then you go back to my first number. So 3,000,
Yeah.
6,000 houses and 1,000 units got sold in 3 months. Now another category is getting added with the with the demand of another 6,000, which is this is actually happening everywhere in Kerala. In each and every tier 2, it is happening. If you look at Coimbatore, if you look at because I was in Chennai, if you look at Trichy or Coimbatore, almost similar scenario is happening. Connected to IT and other developments. See, like I think I covered almost all the points, in the first round of discussion, where I think the way the tier 2s and tier 3s are emerging, not only on the if you look at the products, according to Green Building Council, if I'm right, around 11,056 projects got registered in tier 2s and tier 3s in India today, right? And they're all looking for sustainable development, and people are more socially responsible, and they're because land parcels are available, right? You can actually get the best land parcel, and people are giving too much of importance for the quality lifestyle, right? And they are slowly migrating from the suburbs, from the because now if you work in an IT company, you can work from anywhere now, right? And like I said, NRS, they want to come back, right? Even in tier 2s, the kind of demands we are getting is we will always talk about bed, kitchen, living room, balcony, bedroom. Now the demand is I need a hobby room. So
Yeah.
these kind of plans are there because it is not the fourth generation who are coming and buying from us. There are two things of buying are happening. One is in cities like Trivandrum, Kochi, and all. The first generation, the already apartments are now upgrading to the latest products.
Yeah.
And the people, those who born after 90s, right now, they are slowly moving to this apartment culture where they have they set their demand was very high. Like I said, they need a hobby room, right? Where we launched a project very recently in Trivandrum, which is after having a proper market research where we kept 75% of open area in the project. It's very clear. People are asking like, what is the kind of open area you kept? It's only 122 units, right? And we kept it open, and we are operating, like I said, among 9 districts in Kerala. In every district, we have at least 6 to 7 projects with a portfolio of I would say around 1,740 units to sell across these 37 projects. We are having a very good absorption across all the markets, and now we are emerging to more cities, not only inside Kerala, outside Kerala as well.
Awesome. So I'd love to hear some more insights from the rest of the panel. Sir, we can start off with Sanjay sir and then move to Shivpali ma'am.
Yeah, see, especially business in the real estate is very simple. Okay, as a company, all of us are here to make some certain profit. And what is the problem, especially into the smaller city? If the land cost is going more than 15%, then as a basic fundamental approach, somehow feasibility is going to have the problem. As a thumb rule, also 35% is the cost of the construction, 15% should be the land cost, and 10% is the overhead, sales marketing 5%, blah blah blah. So at least all of us are keeping 30% margin for doing any sort of project launching. So land cost into the B and C class city in place of 15%, it is falling up to 40%. So if I am putting in place of 15%, if I am going up to 40%, this is if I am talking about the percentage wise, I am talking about the total sale value. Okay, if my total sale value is 100, and if I am going the land cost 40% and 50%, somehow it is very difficult for us to go there and do the construction. Therefore, most of the big player of the country, they don't want to move into the smaller city. And also the apart from this, if suppose I want to increase the total top end, then there is no infrastructure. So until unless if the most of the city having the efficiency of 60 to 80% area, they don't have the entire at least minimum infrastructure. Even though if I am going to construct, if I am going to buy the land of 50 acre, 100 acre, for getting the power connection, for getting the water connection, I can't do the bore well. Having the water connection, there is so many. I have to do, at least 20-kilometer infrastructure development by going to the government, having the licensing and all these parameters. So these are the major challenges what I had faced. One is the land acquisition part, cost of the land, then all the minimum requirement of the entire infrastructure. So these are the basic hurdle, and it is stopping us. That is the reason, as a main uh, builder and the developer in the Kerala, Gokul said, hardly, my company is there just for the purchase. Hardly you are selling around 100 CR every year out of 21,000 crore CR, just to have the purchase. So these are the major challenges for the type B and type C city.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, ma'am.
So I have a little contradictory view there, and I kind of tend to agree with what Gokul has said in the first part of the question, that there are a couple of things, right? And I think one is reverse migration, which started during COVID and continues to be a driving force. I think, but bigger than that is the need for urbanization. Um, because of the overall income level that has increased in tier 2 and tier 3, there is a demand for a better quality residential community living. Right now, what do the tier 1 cities offer? They offer safe and secure community living options, dedicated places, dedicated clubhouses, dedicated play area, dedicated ecosystem. So it's not just a building, it's not a
Yeah.
home. It is a community, right? And I think tier two, and maybe not, I wouldn't say tier three, definitely, but tier two cities are ready for that experience, and that they are getting driven by the income increase that's happening and the urbanization which everyone is tasting or getting a taste of it, and they're saying that why not, let's also improve our life standards, and they are ready to pay for that product.
Yeah.
They recognize the value, they recognize the importance of good design, they recognize the value of having large spaces, um, and better lifestyle, right? Now, and this is a personal anecdote, and I'm from large part of my life I've lived in north of India, and I come from a very small city next to me, next to Delhi. I had never seen apartments there, right? What is the general accommodation is the builder flat, what we call in Delhi, which is G plus 2, and that is it. That's been. But in the last, I would say, 6 years, there has been increase of the number of apartments that have been launched and communities which have been launched. So there's so, I mean, what we think in a tier one city, what we take for granted, let's say a children's play area, it's a given. You cannot not have a children's play area, but it is really highlighted that we have a safe and secure children's play area.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say that, and all points noted that Sanjay sir said, it is, to me, a developer, whether it is entering a tier 2 cities or any new market, the challenges of higher land cost, unknown statutory territories, because it's a new city and you're trying to establish, those challenges are irrespective whether it's a tier 2 or tier 3 cities. I would kind of agree with what Gokul said, that I think tier 2 cities are a good market, and they have a humongous latent demand which is not being completely monetized. It's a great growth story to be written, because especially with the tier 1 cities or the metropolitan cities, the infrastructure completely bursting at its seams, definitely tier 2 cities are the market that would be contributing majorly onto the overall real estate industry.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for those insights, everyone. So we are short of time, but this topic is something that I cannot really avoid, because it's something which is close to every younger generation's heart, which is the sustainability in residential real estate. So coming to that sustainability part, so sustainability has become a significant focus in various sectors and various industries, right? So including the residential market. So the real estate market has no escape from it. So as more property buyers prioritize eco-friendly living over everything, and developers are increasingly integrating sustainable features into their projects to meet these demands. So to explore this important trend, I'd like to start off with Shifali ma'am maybe. And Shifali ma'am, what role do you see sustainability playing in residential real estate market? And also how are developers integrating eco-friendly features to meet buyer demands? And post that, we'll move to Sanjay sir and Gokul sir as well.
So this is a topic which is very close to my heart, because I love talking about it, because I think sustainability is something that people love to talk about at every forum and how important it is. But what exactly is sustainability, right? Sustainability is not a one-time exercise. It's a way of living.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
So I always say the same thing, that as a developer, I can only do that much when it comes to sustainable, whether it's a commercial building, whether it's a residential building, whether it is a hospitality asset, right? And even as a developer, if you really look at it, forget about the word called sustainability. If you really look at our NBC code, which is there existing, it is pretty sustainable, right? Rainwater harvesting, whether you call it STP, recycling, all of them are are sustainable requirements which are already inbuilt into our construction procedures and construction deliverables, right? Now, today, of course, we are talking about green buildings. We are talking about not so much in residential, but definitely in commercial. We're talking about net zero buildings.
Yeah.
And I have I would say, one time, and any developer would construct today a sustainable building, because if you're not constructing a sustainable building, you're an outlier. You're not future-proofing yourself, right? And again, Abhinav, I'm limiting myself to a larger real estate industry and not a specific asset class. Right. So in residential segment today, sustainability hasn't taken such a great importance. It's not of so much of importance, but definitely on the commercial segment today, if you're not a sustainable building, if you're not a green building, you don't even qualify to grade A as far as grade A occupiers are concerned. Keeping that in mind, now let's look at from a developer's intent. I go and create a sustainable building, be it residential, be it commercial. But to sustain the sustainability, the operations has to kick in.
Yeah.
Now, commercial occupiers recognize it. That therefore the cost of maintenance goes up. right?
Yeah.
And there is the way of things that happen have to change. Today, as far as commercial real estate is concerned, the occupier segment is also changing because we are introducing a concept of green leasing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to residential segment, once I have constructed the building, apart from the 3 or 4 parameters, which is rainwater harvesting, STP, recycled water being used, etc., how do you maintain sustainability aspect of the project when a association takes over or a society
Hmm.
body takes over,
Yeah.
where the cost of maintenance becomes talk of the community?
Yeah. True.
So I'll answer your question in 2 parts. I think any responsible developer is today working its way towards creating sustainable buildings in every aspect, and that's happening. I think we have achieved a huge milestone when it comes to commercial real estate or institutionalized real estate, as I would call it, where we are saying that both the developer and the occupier are aligned when it comes to sustainable objectives. The not so organized sector of development and the residential segment is something that has a long way to go. From a construction perspective, yes, I think today they are doing a lot of sustainable, but from an operational perspective, how do we continue the sustainability thing is probably something to be seen, something to be adopted, um, as a lifestyle choice. It
Yeah.
can't be a one-time effort.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, yeah, that has been a great insight. And Sanjay sir, yeah. So,
Yeah, sustain the human on the earth. Shafali said very rightly that all most of the developers started working on this, and as far as myself, my company, in last 2 decades, especially I'm not talking the 3 decade. In last 2 decade, all of us started working, not working very very seriously, not only into the resi, also into the office and the retail. And also right now I am making the India largest five-star hotel, St. Regis and Marriott Marquis. Here also well certified and how to ensure the green and how to ensure CO2 should be minimized and all these parameter. You are working very hard not to fulfill the norms. As a serious developer, all of us are very very serious. And as a professional, what I started working not on the later stage, in the pre-construction activity, energy efficient design. If I am not going to design, later on I cannot change. So, energy efficient design in the beginning, all the waste management, green building is the common. But apart from the green building, not to get the certificate of gold and platinum, to ensure that it should be happen, energy efficiency, all the lighting on the HVAC, to ensure how to ensure the chiller capacity and all the lighting. You should, checking the lux level across the area. Water conservation is very very important. Low, waste, how to ensure the tap outflow, and all the sustainable material is also very important. Which material, right? Each and all material, especially I am working on this. Only I'm using the material which is going to fulfill the requirement of the green building. Renewable energies, solar panel and the wind turbine I am using across the building. Whether it is required, not required. For solar, I'm trying to use the all landscape lighting. And and indoor is also very important. Indoor environment, the quality, non-toxic material, proper ventilation. You go and see the Mumbai, across all the apartment, the ventilation is the big issues, right? Natural light, nobody is focusing on all these parameters. So, even though the people, I'm talking about myself, my company, the rooftop is very important. So all of us are working very hard to sustain the human being on the earth for the longer, for the next gen. So this is very important, and Shefali said very right way, and I had added here. So all the senior people, all the developers, not only into the resi, the way I said, into the retail, into the offices. Even though I am telling you, if I am not going to make the sustainable building of the office, most of the good company, they are not going to take on the lease. For leasing the office, also I need to fulfill all the requirements. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, sir. So Gokul sir, over to you. Yeah.
See, I think if you can able to, if you can able to ensure human well-being, then any business will become, successful is what I believe, right? And when it comes to sustainability, there are two aspects of it. One is, the space, and second is, the energy, right? Like we studied in our, classes, high school classes, where, like 1/3 of, Earth is only, the land where you can actually construct, where the residential footprint is only 2%, right? Of course, the way of construction matters a lot, right? And second thing is, when it comes to energy consumption, if you look at humans as a species, we are the only species we used to, eat cooked food, and we really need fossil fuels to, prepare our food, right? See, there is a huge scope, right, when it comes to sustainable, because you just imagine, like, residential business, which is actually fulfilling the most important requirement of, the human species, which is not ensuring, the social well-being of, or the human well-being of future, then this business cannot become successful, right? How we can able to become successful is, like, the way we develop, our projects, right? Like we said, we recently launched a project in Trivandrum called Asset the Leaf, where I said, like, 75% of the area is open space, and we brought around 200 trees inside, right? But that is not actually the real thing. Like, we are now working on something called social reproduction. So social reproduction is like, when you are, bringing somebody from any kind of habitat ecosystem to an apartment, system, where he can able to, after 3 months or 6 months, he's going to be a part of that community, right? So we are actually planning to do another project where we are bringing amenities which is connected to space. See, for example, when I grown up, my future aspirations are largely connected to my primary contacts, the kind of area I grown up, right? My school, my contacts and everything. And today my kids are actually, growing up inside a apartment where we are actually implementing an amenity called soundscape. I think in our childhood, we used to go to the river banks, and, we will roar and we'll enjoy the echo, right? We'll shout and enjoy the echo, right? Today we are recreating that inside an apartment complex. So it's also kind of, right? And we are become more responsible, like, when it comes to, building. And second is the energy. If you look at energy, see, I just gone through very interesting materials. One is a kind of glass which we are using now, which can actually help you to get the maximum, light coming inside, but it is heat resistant. It will cut the heat, and only it will provide, the light inside. And very recent, because I'm selling houses by last 10 years, but very recently, somebody asked me, Gokul, do you know in every flush how many liters of water is getting consumed? I said, like, somewhere around 10 to 50 liters. He said, no, it's around 20 liters of water is getting consumed in every flush. So now we have, closets and, the flush points where we can actually, control this water consumption. So if we go for, based on the purpose, like, see, in that way, I think not only, the developer, the designers, where I'm talking about the social reproduction, when it comes to, the land, where we are, like, more responsible of, getting more vegetation and all, keeping more open area and all. Then the spec, because we are getting specs from different brands, and each and every brand is, now become more, socially responsible, and they are bringing sustainable products and all the materials what we are using for construction, right? So, and it is a complete, revolution. It is happening everywhere. I think that is going to help us to become more socially responsible and bring in sustainable communities.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for all of your insights, sirs and ma'am. It has been a great session. So I guess since it's a time crunch and we've passed the 1 hour duration, so we have to wrap it up. So as we wrap up today's roundtable, I just want to extend my gratitude to everyone who joined us, and specifically the panel members, because your participation and insights have made this session truly valuable. And a special thanks to our all the esteemed panelists, Mr. Sanjay Love, Shifali ma'am, and also Gokul sir, for sharing your expertise and also your perspectives on the residential real estate, because your contributions have provided us with like a deeper understanding into what the trends or the challenges are, and what is actually shaping up the residential real estate market. And also to all our audience, thank you so much for your engagement, because it's your involvement that has driven the success of this particular discussion. And we hope you found this session very informative, and the insights shared were helpful to navigate the dynamic real estate landscape. And we also look forward to seeing you in our future events as well. So until next time, thank you once again, and you guys have a great week ahead. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Abhinav. Thank you for having us over. It was
Thank
lovely.
you, Abhinav. Thank you,
Yeah, thank you so
Shefali.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Gokul.
you. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, the Lead Esquire, for organizing such
Oh,
event. And I
thank
had
you so
learned
much.
a lot of things from Shefali and Gokul. And thank you very
Likewise,
much.
sir.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Same here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.